Hi, it's Merryl Key from My Mystery School. Here's your astro forecast for January 2023. I'll be looking at the astrology and also using the Astro Dice for each sign. The full moon's in Cancer on Jan 7, and on Jan 22, we've got the Lunar New Year, the new moon in Aquarius. Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and Mercury and Uranus are also retrograde. Mercury in Capricorn until the 19th, and Uranus is turning direct on the 22nd with the new moon. Like, follow, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and know that it really helps my channel. Here's a closer look at each sign. Aries. Pluto, second house in Scorpio. Aries, Jupiter's just moved into your sign. And when it does that, it means you want to expand and you can bring luck in, but it also brings in some challenges. Because Jupiter in Aries is kind of blustery and bolshy and loud. Pluto in your second house in Scorpio. We've got a match here with Scorpio and Pluto. There's something going on in your resources that needs a really good look. Something's reached a bottom line and you're going to have to dig deep. The resources you've got are resilience. And with Jupiter in your sign, that means power. You have to take command of your own life and command of the resources that you're giving out. You might find in January that you revive or regenerate a skill or a talent, something that's been buried for a while. Or you might find that your skill, talent and resource comes from being able to reach a psychological conclusion, your psychological strength. The full moon on the 7th could bring up issues around your home life, and there's a move or a financial issue going on with that, or it's become toxic where you are. Later on in the month, you'll find solutions come easier, and that new moon on the 22nd, coinciding with Uranus moving forward, opens up to new solutions and new community groups, new connections. I think for January, Aries, you'll be looking at where you gave too much away and where you've reached a bottom line. There's a lot of power in this, so use it wisely, use it bravely. Taurus. We've got second house, Gemini. And that one was, It was Uranus. Taurus, you have Uranus in your sign and you will for another few years. It's been shaking up all your comfort zones, all your ideas of security and pushing you towards innovation. On the new moon in the 22nd of January, Uranus has been retrograde. It will move forward at that time. And I expect you'll have a breakthrough in your resources around that space. It could come through a sibling, through communication, through education, through social media, or finding a local solution that's quite innovative. The strength in your resources is your ability to adapt and respond to a situation. In that early part of January, Jan 7, the Cancer moon will be opening up gifts, emotional support, and I think you'll be getting a conversation out of the blue that points you in the direction of what you need. The new moon on the 22nd pushes you into the spotlight as well. So some of these conversations and unusual breakthroughs can be happening in the place of work, career, or how people see you from the outside, your public persona. You might have to tweak your direction or be a bit patient around that early part of Jan, but things kick off towards the end of the month. Gemini. We've got the 6th house, the 9th house, Leo, and Pluto. Gemini, this looks like a situation to me of letting yourself shine without feeling shame or guilt about coming really truthfully into your values, your ninth house education and wisdom, being able to bring that through in a confident and generous way. There's really deep knowledge you've learned, and you've learned it from experience, from the school of hard knocks. And January, you have an opportunity to let all that really deep wisdom come on show. The early part of Jan, around the full moon, there's a bit of tension with this, and I expect you'll be giving yourself a hard time. But by the end of the month, with that new moon in Aquarius, you seem to fall into a like-minded community or a like-minded group where you can share your knowledge. You're also a bit of a superstar with this. Remember, Mars is retrograde, so if you open your big mouth too much or get too bossy and Leo-like with the power, if you don't share the power and share the space, that Mars retrograde could catch you out. It's an end of a cycle for you, leaving one environment and moving to a totally new landscape. Cancer, the full moon is in your sign on January the 7th. We've got the moon, 5th house, and Aries. When the full moon's in your sign, it brings things to a culmination. For Cancerians, it might be a time you want to become internal and just be close and safe with those you love. But it's also a time where you want to share the nurturing. And this Astro Dice spread is so beautiful for you. For January, it's acknowledging the full moon in your sign through the 5th house of children and creativity and expressing yourself in a luxy way. With Aries, giving you some leadership and some independence, bringing you out of your shell. Jupiter's just moved into Aries and it is square your sign. Sometimes that can mean there's limitations put in place, but I see you getting really creative with it, and your children and your creative projects, the way you dress, the way you cook, the way you dance, these are all things that are going to give you pleasure over January. It could be a little hiccup around that new moon where maybe you step on someone's toes or they're cramping your style. But the Astro Dice is saying stand true, be a leader and express yourself boldly. Anyone who's thinking going camping or going out into the wilderness, I think this is a really good read for having fun doing that. Trying something different, climbing a few mountains. This is a nice read for you, Cancer. Leo, Sagittarius, Jupiter, and what's that? The 4th house. Wow, that's really nice. Leo, this could have you travelling or having travellers arrive in your home. There's luck and speculation, investments coming in, great conversations, and it brings a lot of joy and extroversion into your personal life. The new moon on the 22nd of January is opposite your sign, and it can bring in new relationships or reinvigorate the ones you've already got. And this looks really reinvigorating. Sag is a fire sign, really buoyant and optimistic. It's ruled by Jupiter, so we've got a match, doubling that energy, and the 4th house centres around home and family. Some of you might be looking at renovations or expanding what you've got at home. While Saturn's been opposite your sign, Leo, it's been putting tension on a key relationship to conform or step up or take a position of authority. In some ways feeling that you can't get it right. But this spread to me looks like you're going to let that go in January and just have some fun. Just bring in the people who uplift you, who don't get too bogged down in serious stuff. Virgo, here's your Astro Dice for the month of January. The moon, Scorpio, and the 9th house. The full moon on the 7th of Jan is bringing a culmination to some of your friendships or your groups, or even where you're seeing that you've realised a dream and you're ready to move on. January looks like an investigation of where, how and what you want to bring through. The moon in Scorpio really digs deep and it uncovers secrets, it holds the cards close to its chest, and it's prickly sensitive. In the 9th house, this is challenging your belief systems. Perhaps there's been something playing out that doesn't sit right with your values. It may be someone in your group who's just gone too far with something. Whatever it is, it's quite concerning for you, and it has you looking down at your own behaviour and your own past. But you'll probably come out the other side of that thinking that you've learned and you've gained a lot from those past painful experiences. There's a lot of compassion and deep honesty over January that you'll be exploring and sharing and really needing. In the 9th house, something could come out through social media, or you might feel really exposed because of a difference of beliefs, a difference of outlook. But I think, Virgo, over January, you'll be seeing things as they really are. And you've got that analysis to accept a situation and still have compassion, even if you decide to distance yourself from something. The new moon is in your 6th house of work and daily routines. And in Aquarius, it's going to open you up to whole new groups. So those are the places where your energy starts to grow and you see new horizons, new beginnings. It could be as simple as shifting your bed around or a new way of eating, a new type of exercise. But it's something that fills your mind and your body. Astro Dice for Libra. We've got Pisces, Neptune, and the 10th house. Well, the full moon on Jan 7th is in your 10th house. So there's something going on about your work, or the way you're driving it, the way you're lifting yourself out of home and getting yourself out in the world. And Pisces and Neptune here, that's a match. So there's some creative or charitable skill or talent that you're going to be recognised for. You might even decide that you need to take time out over January because the emphasis isn't really on earning money. The emphasis is on growing your imagination, your spiritual connection, and just letting things flow. It's unusual for a Libran to not try to drive things. But I see it's a very creative time for you. The new moon in Aquarius on the 22nd falls in your 5th house of self-expression. And it looks like there's an award or success, some recognition, even a celebration for just you being you, just you how you do things. This is good for daydreaming and imagining, but also bringing your dreams and imagination into reality. Scorpio. Oh, that's the North Node, the 6th house, and Aquarius. This is a bit of trouble, Scorpio. The North Node and Aquarius are both square your sign at the moment. And the 6th house is the place of daily work, your health routines, and how you go about your business. It's also to do with pets and hobbies. But there's some pressure being put on you where you want to achieve more and be seen and recognised for your skills and talents, and somehow you have to make yourself stand out from the group. And that's not something you always like doing. You'd rather work covertly. But here the spotlight's on you. Some of you might find a shake-up in your daily routine, and you might be travelling somewhere or changing the scenery in some way. The full moon on the 7th of Jan is in your fellow water sign of Cancer. So you might be making travel plans, not only to get by the water or by the beach, but that Cancerian theme of coming close to Mother Nature, coming close to your mother, coming close to other mothers and children, making a little nest. Towards the end of January, around that new moon on the 22nd, whatever your plans that have been shaking up or taking you out of your daily routine, you'll be coming back to solid ground. This isn't a bad spread for you. This is quite nice. But there's just this feeling of having to go out and be extrovert or having to mix in groups, and maybe you just want to hang out and do your own thing. For all that, it might be good, North Node, to let other people in through your hard shell, to let other people into your daily routine. Sagittarius. This is your January, first house. Sun. And Sag. Wow, Sag, it is all about you. You are the lucky ones for Jan. January looks like a whole new beginning. You've got loads of confidence. You focused on your own needs and you're expressing your independence and your individuality to perfection. January looks like for Sages a time to get out, be wild, be a crazy horse, and do and be whatever you want. The focus is on you and you're loving it. The Cancer full moon is in your 8th house of endings, and it's a rebirth as well. And January looks like a rebirth where you're kickstarting a whole new vibe. There's luck coming your way. You're getting seen and noticed in all the right places. Some of you, it may be an issue with father because the sun represents father. But overall, first house sun, Sag, you know who you are, you know where you're going. You're starting off a new cycle and you're doing it bravely and boldly and getting a glimpse into the future and what role you want to play. The new moon around the 22nd of Jan can bring communication or new connections. You might be changing your appearance. It could have you learning something different or teaching something. This is the archetype of the teacher, and I think we're all going to learn something from a Sag over January. Capricorn. You've got Neptune, the 3rd house, and Capricorn. Your January looks like it's going to be taken up with communications that have gone foggy or around in circles, and it might even be something with a sibling. Some of you may be doing a trip or travelling or visiting siblings. Partners might be needing a bit more of you because the full moon is in Cancer, in your opposite sign. And this might be where the communication got a bit mixed up because Neptune has thrown a fog over the details. You could find that plans change a bit and you're not so comfortable going with the flow. But like your other cardinal sign, Libra, there's an element of letting go of control and allowing the truth or the details to emerge, and they will emerge. The new moon in Aquarius is in your 2nd house of resources. And so there might be an unusual income stream or a little burst of extra funds that come through. You've also got Jupiter just moved into Aries and it's square your sign. And this can make you lock horns with someone. Don't be swayed by Jupiter's tendency to be loud and dominating. Be ready to adapt and disappear if you need to. Aquarius. You've got Cancer, the 11th house, which is your house. Oops, and Saturn. Oh, sorry, Jupiter. So this puts luck amongst your friends. Luck around your children, luck towards your home, and luck towards your broader community. For some of you, you might be getting an announcement or some good news coming through. You might be attending a big happy event. This can be announcements about babies and fertility. It could also bring about something you've been wishing for. The Cancer full moon of culminations falls in your 6th house, affecting your work and your work relationships, bringing a change or an ending or dissolving something in that area. But the 22nd is the Lunar New Year, the year of the rabbit, and it's the Aquarius new moon. Uranus is moving forward, and I think this is where you'll see some of that expansion coming through your group, coming through the needs of emotional sharing, of sharing vulnerability, sharing resources, getting more stability with your resources. It could also see you joining a fitness group, because Jupiter expands what it touches, and when it touches a water sign, it can expand body fat. So some of you might be joining a boot camp or a yoga class, and if that's a new thing for you, then I say it's going to work really well. Pisces. You're looking at the 5th house and Mars. And Capricorn. So we know that Mars is retrograde in Gemini, which is square your sign. And Capricorn with the 5th house puts a bit of duty and obligation and a few limits into how you wanted to express yourself or how you wanted to create. So I think, Pisces, you've got to be looking at where you spent your energy, where you put effort into, and what hasn't satisfied your creative needs. Life looks like it's got bogged down in too much serious obligation and responsibility, and you're starting to get really restless with it. In that first week of January, you might find that you're at a really frustrating boiling point, or it might be when you do launch something that's more true to your own values and true to your personal responsibility. It could be that you've been commissioned or authorised to do something and you've taken it out your own way, even if it's gone backwards and forwards, back to the negotiating table. It could be that what you thought was communicated is actually in a different direction to where you are now. It puts a little bit of a shadow over January for you. When Mars goes forward, it could start to point you in the right direction, but you're not out of the woods of that Mars square until March, when Mars finally leaves Gemini. So check in and do the dance and make sure you've ticked all the boxes so it doesn't come back to bite you. If you're truly creative, you'll find a way to work within limitation, and you'll find a way to express yourself even if you have to go back and forward to get the authority to move forward. I'm Merryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Thanks for all your support. Contact me on my website www.merrylkey.com. Blessed be.